What's up everybody, how's it going, and welcome back to another Mobile Legends adventure video. Now in today's video we will be doing a beginner's guide for the wish list. Now this wish list will be targeted towards free-to-play players, mainly because I started a free-to-play series on the channel, and I kind of want this video to go hand in hand with that for those type of players. Now the reason that this list will be free to play is going to be something that I will explain at the end of the video, but there's a very specific reason why I will be choosing the main majority, I guess, of this wish list, okay? Because these are going to be characters that you don't exactly have to rely on the RNG or luck of the draw from your premium summons, okay? You can actually build them in other ways. So I will touch on that at the end of the video. Now, I have cleared out the wish list for the sake of this video on my main account, and we will be filling it in together. All right, so let's get started. So the elemental faction. Now, the elemental faction, of course, you have to have Valir because he's just awesome. I mean, he is so powerful. If you get him on a reroll, keep that account, see where it goes, because him paired with Angela, someone like Angela that can buff his attack, you will progress so fast, okay? And as a free-to-play player, he's super strong. So the next one we're gonna have is going to be Estus. Now, Estus is a great healer. He is one of the top healers in my opinion, aside from, you know, Order and Chaos faction. He's one of the best healers, all right? So definitely add him to your free-to-play wish list. Next up, I would want this character just as an option on your free-to-play wish list, because he's a great support and he actually does control, so he's actually pretty decent, so we're going to add him. Now the next one is going to be Gord. Now he is okay, he's okay. If I wasn't free-to-play, I probably wouldn't put him on here, but as a free-to-play player, he can actually be built kind of easier than most heroes, along with a lot of other heroes on this list, so that's why he's on here. He actually does pretty decent AoE damage, and also he kind of looks like Goku Super Saiyan Blue, so that's a plus. So the last one's gonna be Hylos. Now Hylos, I had him on my main account when I first started a long time ago, and he's great because he's a tank, he's really strong, and he can actually, with his ultimate, he lays down this strip, like magical strip on the ground behind him that actually buffs the attack power of the middle row and back row. So if you have your DPSs in the middle row, he's going to buff them, buff their attack, and you're going to hit harder because of him. And he's a tank. I mean, normally tanks just shield and kind of heal themselves to stop and protect the front line, but he buffs the rest of your team, so that's awesome. All right, so next we have the tech faction. The tech faction, obviously we're going to put Angela on here. Again, if you watched my reroll video, you know that she's a good one to reroll for, and she is the best support, because if you pair her with someone that has that's a really good DPS, she can make someone like Valir do a ton more damage. Okay, so she's a definite must for that free-to-play wish list. Next, we have Lolita. Now, Lolita is a really good tank too, because she can actually shield herself, but she can also do an AoE attack that can stun the enemy. So she's really good, especially because she can shield herself, so she can survive a long time. Next, we have Carrie. Now, Carrie will actually be really good paired with Angela. Again, a high DPS character paired with Angela is a win, okay? That is a definite no-brainer, okay? So you have a DPS, pair them with Angela. You want them to do more damage, pair them with Angela. And she is the boss killer, okay? She's so good at guild bosses. All right, so next we have Leslie. Now Leslie is great because she can actually do more damage the lower her HP gets. Now she can only do single target damage, but she can actually one-shot enemies with her ultimate if her HP is low enough. So that is huge. I mean, if someone's giving you problems and her HP is getting low enough, she does her ultimate, boom, they're done. Just downs them right then and there. All right, so the last one we're gonna put on this list, mainly because of your 7-day login reward, is Saber. Now, after logging in on a new account for 7 days, on that 7th day, you get a 6-star Saber. Now, Saber's really good. He can hop over to the enemy side of the battlefield when the battle begins, and he can kind of do AoE damage in a sense where he has these shurikens like rotating around him and they're hitting whoever's around him, front, side, back, and he's really decent for that. But not only that, but you can actually build him fairly quickly above all of your other characters, unless you just get insanely lucky and just pull multiple copies of other characters before him. But yeah, you can actually build him up to 7 to 8 stars very quickly within a couple of weeks. So that's why he's on here. Next is the Martial faction. Now the Martial faction, first one I would put on here would probably be Hanabi. Now Hanabi has a really cool ultimate to where she can immobilize a random enemy for, I think it's like 4 seconds, 4 to 6 seconds, and it damages them over time. So she's really good. Next, I'd probably say Irithyll. Okay, Irithyll is a marksman as well, just like Hanabi. But not only can she do her ultimate, she transforms her regular crossbow into like this giant heavy crossbow that then basic attacks do AoE damage, but she can actually lower the enemy's defense. She's a no-brainer for this list. Next, I'd say we need a tank for the Martial faction, and Akai or Aki, however you want to pronounce his name, he's really good. He can actually shield your whole team. The next one we're going to choose is Xylong. Now Xylong's really good because once he activates his ultimate, he can actually increase his agility. So meaning once he gets his ultimate, his energy level will increase, or his energy gauge will increase much faster. So he can actually get his ultimate again for a second time. Now that is pretty cool because he's very strong. He's a fighter class, and you can put him on the front line. So he's a good DPS fighter class for the front line if you need one, if you don't have a tank. So he can be good for that. Now the very last slot I'd say would have to be a healer. Now she is special. Nana is special because she can revive fallen heroes. Now she can only do this once. I think it's only once per battle. Maybe I'm wrong, but she can revive the hero with the highest battle power. So even if you have 2 or 3 downed heroes, she can revive the hero with the highest battle power. And if that is your DPS, she brings them back. She heals them for 25% of their HP. So that is huge, especially if it's at the end of the battle and each side is taking losses. She can come back, or she can bring someone back, and if that person or hero has their own passive ability that can start to heal themselves, that fallen hero, that resurrected hero, can actually come back to full HP. So just depending on who they are. All right, so that is the Martial faction. The next one is the Light faction. The first one I'm gonna have to go with Kagura. Now, Kagura is very good at being a DPS. She does really good damage, okay? And she can shield herself. So the next hero, now if you saw my reroll guide, you know that she is a good AoE damage dealer. She can put the enemy team to sleep, not just 1 or 2, but all of them, for I think it's for 4 seconds. So that is 4 seconds that you and your team are just pounding away at their HP. Okay, so she is great. Next, now I'm going to choose 2 tanks for this faction, mainly because they're so powerful. But the first one, you have Freya. Now Freya is a tank that it can actually, kind of like Argus, do a really good amount of damage as a tank. Not just keeping the enemies back, but she can take them out, like DPS style out. Okay, so she's really good because she can actually shield herself, and as she's attacked and as that shield is attacked, she can take that attack and turn it into HP for herself. But this next hero, Uranus, is more of the shield and longer lasting style tanks. He takes an attack and turns it into divine energy, which turns into shield. It's kind of weird the way his skill description is read, but basically that's what it happens. He's attacked, he stacks what's called divine energy, and he shields himself. He does decent damage, but he can last a lot longer with his powerful shields. All right, so the last hero that we're gonna add to the Light faction list is probably gonna be Chang Yi. Now she's really good. She does really good AoE damage, and I know all about her AoE damage because I'm used to getting my team absolutely destroyed by her. If she's on the enemy team, she gets her ultimate, and just like that, my team is just done. They're all gone. They're all dead. So she's really good at AoE damage. For each faction, you kind of want to have at least 2 DPS or someone that can do AoE damage, and the light faction is pretty good at having characters that can do that. So the last faction we're going to look at is the dark faction. Now the dark faction, of course, this is my favorite faction. People say that they're not as strong as the rest, but I disagree. I mean, you have, okay, for example, you have Karina. Karina is a very good assassin type. I guess she's not a fire. She's an assassin class hero, but she can do crazy damage. And actually, I think her ultimate does AoE damage, but she's really good about jumping over into the enemy side of the battlefield and just going nuts, doing all kinds of DPS. But the next hero that we would choose, I feel, would have to be Vexana. Vexana is special because she doesn't charm the enemy, she marks them. So when she marks an enemy and that enemy is taken out, they then come back under the control of Vexana. Okay, so she's not only powerful, she can do a decent amount of damage, but if she marks an enemy, and especially a powerful enemy, she can actually bring them back and have them fight for you. So you not only have 5 people on your team now, 5 heroes on your team, you have 6. And that's why she is so special. Alright, so next hero we have is Selena. Now Selena is special because she has 2 different ultimates. Her first ultimate is she can charm 2 random enemies, I think for 3 to 4 seconds. But she basically turns them against her own team. They're attacking their own team, taking out their own teammates, which is great. Now, the second time she gets her ultimate, she actually transforms into basically beast mode. Okay, and she can one-shot enemies at this point. Not only that, but she does AoE damage, and she can heal herself for a really good amount of HP. Like, it's crazy. She's almost like a DPS mage support all rolled into one. But she's a definite must for your free-to-play wish list. Now, next we have the number 1 pick, Alice, and she is one that I actually pulled on my free-to-play account. She does great AoE damage with her ultimate, and she has lifesteal, which she can heal herself at the same time she's doing a massive amount of damage to the other team all at once. So she's an absolute must for this list. Now, the last one is going to be Argus. Now, get back on there. Argus is great because he's a great tank that can do a lot of damage, but also he has a passive ability that when he gets low enough on HP, he activates a invincibility mode for 5 seconds, like base level skill. It can go all the way up to 7 seconds, but where he is basically immortal. He can't take any damage. And after that 7 seconds, if you have someone like an Estus that can heal him back up, he can stay alive. But he can only do that one time, which really isn't a big issue, but he's a really good tank for the Dark faction. Okay, so that is that. I think this video has gone on long enough. I'm sorry if it's pretty lengthy, but I've tried to get through it as quick as possible. I will put timestamps for each of these factions down in the description. But yeah, that's the wish list for free-to-play players, and I hope this has helped you. But now, to touch on at least not the Dark faction, because for the Dark faction, the heroes that I chose are ones that are very powerful. But over here, if you come into the guild shop or the marketplace and into the guild shop, you have 2 Dark faction heroes in here. Now, Helkert, he's decent. He's an assassin type hero. He does good damage. The other one is a marksman, Moskov, however you want to pronounce it. He's decent. He actually does an AoE attack for his ultimate that sends down spears on the other side of the battlefield on top of the enemy. He's decent. But the ones that I have picked for the Dark faction are really good. Okay, so you want to focus on those. Now, the rest of these heroes in here, I don't know if you can tell, but they are all on that wish list. Well, except for you. I'm not a big fan of him. Or him. Diggy is not a good character. He is C, D class, F class, in my opinion. But yeah, you can see that all those characters are actually in here. And that is so good for a free-to-play player, because all you have to do, if you want that character or if you have a copy of that character, you don't have to come over here and be like, okay, well, I have to save up more gems just to do a pull or a 10 pull and just hope that I get a Freya, right? But you don't have to do that. If you already have a copy of Freya, all you have to do is log in every day, and then every 2 days you come over here to the suburb tab, boom, you do this. Okay? You do the labyrinth, and you get labyrinth coins, and you go back to the market, and you spend those in the dungeon shop. Now, 6,000 may be a lot, but as a beginner, as a new account, you are going to complete challenges that are going to give you a massive amount of these labyrinth coins. So buying these heroes in the beginning from here is going to be very easy. Okay, you just have to play the game. It's an idle game. You just have to, time is your enemy basically, but you just have to log in every day and do your labyrinth. Okay, so that's why those 3 heroes in the wish list, the 3 in each faction except for the dark faction, are so important, because they are much easier to build, and they're very good heroes. Okay, so you're a free-to-play player, and that will make your progression much easier. Okay, so that's about it for this video. I think I've pretty much covered everything. It's going to be a lengthy video. Like I said, I'm going to put timestamps. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more content. Be sure to tick that bell notification to be notified of when I upload new videos, and give it a like if you enjoyed the information. I hope it helped you. I didn't want just a copy and paste kind of list. I wanted to give you a little bit of information of why they are important to a free-to-play player's wish list. So hopefully it helped you. Give it a like. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.